Getting ready for the NFL season at Bookmaker. How about a preview of the NFC North for you with the Green Bay Packers on the board at 6-1 to win the Super Bowl. Detroit 25-1. The Bears, a buzz team, open 30 down to 20, and 150-1 on the Vikings. 6-1, seriously, that's a heck of a price on the Pack.
Yeah, I agree with you. 6-1's pretty decent right now for a team that was the most dominating team in football last year. One bad game cost them going to the Super Bowl and probably winning another title.
Let's break it down by categories. We start with the coaches. In Chicago, Lovie Smith at the helm, but the big news, Mike Tice replaces Mike Martz as the offensive coordinator, which immediately would make one think more emphasis on the running game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Lovie Smith now 8 years in Chicago. It's been 5 years since the Super Bowl. Went with the Mike Martz experiment. Didn't work out. Mike Tice elevated from the O-line to offensive coordinator. He's a really solid offensive line guy. They will run the ball more in Chicago.
Jim Schwartz has done a great job in Detroit. But I will say this, when you have massive problems off the field, I think it's a reflection of the head coach. So I think he's got to rein these guys in.
Oh, there's no doubt. He's the leader. But, sometimes you have you do have say over what your guys do, but I think you take a little more control. But then again, off the field, you can't watch them all. Schwartz was a defensive coordinator under Jeff Fisher at Tennessee. He's a conservative coach. I think they'll play better defense this year.
Mike McCarthy does a great job. I don't know that he gets the credit he deserves. Super Bowl, of course, 63-33 his record, but he's got a new offensive coordinator.
He does. Joe Philbin left to go be the head coach of the Dolphins. They elevated Tom Clements as their quarterback coach, which leads continuity to Aaron Rodgers. They should click on offense just like last year.
Minnesota's another team that can get squirrely off the field, bad behavior, and Leslie Frazier at the helm. But he gets a no-nonsense guy to help the cause in Mike Singletary.
No doubt. No nonsense. And I like Leslie Frazier. Everywhere he's been, he's improved the defensive secondary and the overall total defense. Now he brings in Singletary as a linebackers coach and a special assistant to himself. This defense should be improved. They're still young, but they'll be improved.
One of the major reasons that the Bears have caught the eye of the betting public and are kind of a buzz team. They're a public team to begin with, but they're actually a sharp team this year, is what they did in free agency, Kenny. And let's just start with mostly on offense, and we'll start at the wideout position. Nice pickup here.
Big pickup. Brandon Marshall comes over from the Dolphins. Started out his career at Denver, so he'll reunite with Jay Cutler. That hookup should be very good for the Bears.
You might have a nice two-headed monster. Matt Forte's got his money. We'll see how healthy he is. But Michael Bush, certainly when he played for McFadden, in his stead, when injured in Oakland, he was a horse.
He was a horse. Close to 1,000 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. Big running back, big and strong, so they got lightning and power and speed in the backfield.
Don't thumb your nose at this one. This could be a big, big move. Getting Jason Campbell from the Raiders. Cutler has a penchant for getting hurt.
He does, but I think it'll be a different story with Tice as the offensive coordinator. More running. Mike Martz's offense put Cutler in harm's way too often, but you're right. If something happens, Jason Campbell's a great pickup, great second quarterback.
This could be a savvy free agent signing with Minnesota getting John Carlson, a pretty heady tight end when healthy. 5 years, $25 million. In his heyday, pretty good combo with Hasselbeck.
They gave him that money. They must know he's healthy, and Carlson is a good one. Outstanding blocker, good routes, solid hands, had 7 touchdowns at Seattle.
Let's go to Chicago on draft day. And we've got a defensive end coming out of Boise State, their first-round pick. We know this kid will be well coached.
Yeah, Shea McClellan, high motor guy, just nonstop. He loves to get into the backfield. He will make plays, and you're right, he is very well coached.
All right, and then Alshon Jeffrey, wide receiver, South Carolina, played the best competition in college football.
He's a burner, and you're right. He played against pro defensive backs almost every day when he went out in game time. So well coached under Spurrier. He'll make a difference. He'll get a shot maybe as third or fourth wide receiver.
Started with the Bears there because there's that group of free agents and draft picks. 5 new core guys could make a big difference. But the player on draft day that could ultimately long-term, Kenny, have the biggest impact would be Matt Khalil, the tackle from USC. The Vikes were offered a truckload of picks for him.
Monster left tackle out of USC. Great size, very good speed, great feet. He will get schooled a little bit by some professional outside linebackers and defensive ends with some moves he's never seen. But in the long run, Khalil's got a chance to be a Pro Bowler.
Did you do a little bit of a double take on draft day with the Lions going offense with their premier picks? This is a team could score with the best of them, but really couldn't stop people.
And it seems for years they've gone with offensive selections. Other than Ndamukong Suh at defensive tackle, they've been an offensive team. and it is a surprise. But you know what? Schwartz is a defensive guy, and he loves defense, so maybe he's really comfortable with what he has.
But tackles don't grow on trees, and Rife's a good one.
No doubt about it.
And finally, how about Green Bay? They went to USC for a good linebacker, and that's a formula that's worked for them before.
Yeah, their linebackers have always been solid. Nick Perry out of SC is a good one. Take him some time, but he'll be okay for that defense, and that's where they need to improve the most is on D.
We rate the quarterbacks for you right here. NFC North, best division in terms of quarterbacks, depth-wise?
Yeah, I think you're right. When you start with Aaron Rodgers, he's number one in any division in the NFL right now. So when you got the top guy, pretty easy to start. But Stafford, comeback player of the year last year. Cutler, slightly falling the last couple of years in the ratings, but still pretty solid. And then Christian Ponder, a rookie last year, moving up in the ratings.
Kenny's power rating second to none. Only focus on this category, how it ended, where we're going.
Well, last year looking at Green Bay, they started at 103, ended at 102.5. This year I'm starting them at 102 will be the initial rating. The Bears started at 95 last year, dropped off to a 94.5. They will start at a 97 with all the pickups. Detroit 96 last year started out. That's where they start this year in the bottom of the barrel. Minnesota started at 95. They're only at 92 this year.
Finally, strength of schedule, pretty easy sailing for the marquee teams, but poor Minnesota, projected to be at the bottom of the barrel, gets a tough schedule.
The eighth toughest in football, 7 games against teams who've won 9 games or more last year. But when you look at the other teams in the division, they all have 7 games against teams that won 9 or more last year, including the Packers. So the Packers' schedule must be kind of top-heavy and bottom easy.
There you have it. It's a preview of the NFC North, and we're ready for football in a big way. Don't forget, check your smartphone anywhere, anytime. Current updated odds. All you have to do is go to bookmaker.eu. It's easy and free and simple to open up an account.